Good morning, women of purpose. The Lord just really ministered something to me very deeply, and I wanted to get on as soon as I could and share with you guys. I'm a big mess this morning. I've been cleaning. You guys all women, you know what it has been this week. We've had family in town, so there hasn't been much cleaning. So I'm trying to catch up today. And if you guys have ever heard me talk, you've heard me say repeatedly about worship and different things. And so the song 4 Days Late was on, and it was a trigger to me because I began to ponder on the times that I felt the Lord was too late, and how out of that time life came. A miracle is birth, however you want to phrase it, however you want to apply it to your life. And I was just sitting there thinking about, Lord, why didn't you go when Mary and Martha sent word? They sent word while there was still life in Lazarus. You had plenty of time to get there before he had to die. Why did you wait? And I really just felt the Lord minister to me, and he told me this. He said there was a purpose. He had to get Lazarus to the point of death. He had to die before he could resurrect him. And then this is what he told me. He said there was more power in the resurrection than there was in the death. And I started thinking about that concept in my own life, and I said, that is so true, because just like barrenness, that season of death that I went through, when there was death into my womb and death into my body, and how there was more power of the resurrection miracle when my womb was filled than there was the whole time I was ever barren. There was so much power in the resurrection of the miracle. And I said, Lord, I never thought of it like that way. I probably have at times, but it didn't hit like it did this morning. That in order for the resurrection, God had to lead Lazarus through death. And I know these are Bible stories, and they're true, so I'm not saying that, but how we can take what happened then and apply it to now. And I said, Lord, forgive me for being, why, how could you, God, and not be appreciative to the death, because in a death comes a resurrection. And I started really just repenting, because I'm like, I'm so foolish, because I'm looking at all these situations from my own personal perspective. I haven't broadened my view and broadened my understanding to say, God, where was the purpose in the death? Where is the resurrection coming out of this? So I just really wanted to share that with you today, that there was more power in the resurrection than there is in the death. I don't know about you guys, but I have felt the ministry come alive and all of a sudden died. And then when it comes back, what happens? It comes back more powerful, because God burst something out of the season of death that it had to go through, that he put an anointing into it when there came a resurrection, when it came into the resurrection season. Same thing, it can happen with relationships. It can be applied to so many areas in your life, but I applied it to a couple miracles, and I also applied it to some ministries. How I seen that I felt like it was dead, gone, it was over, that was it. I hit the final breath, that it could go no longer, and then it's all of a sudden the power of God hit it after a time, even though it felt late and it felt done, and it felt like there was no way that God could be in the situation anymore, and all of a sudden life was breathed back into this thing, and the resurrection brought an anointing and brought a power that it didn't have pre-death. So I hope it made some kind of sense. It really ministered very deeply to me this morning. I hope that it ministered to you guys, that there is more power in the resurrection than there is in the death. So if you have felt something that God has, as you cried out for God to save, and he didn't, or you feel like he left you and it was too late, then ask him, God, is a resurrection coming? Is this my Lazarus moment? Is there going to be more power in the resurrection than there was in the death of this thing? And that's all I wanted to share with you guys this morning. I just pray that you guys are very blessed today, that just the peace of God surrounds you, and that, the Spirit of the Lord will minister to you this morning.